You're on the East Coast, you probably look towards the afternoon. But however, if you're on the other time zones in the Central, in the Mountain, in the Pacific, you're in the morning. And this is the Breakin Ankles Show, college basketball edition, Sunday. And we are ready with the big card. I'm bringing back 5 plays for you today. That's right, 5 plays. You know why? Because I let you down yesterday. We went 1-3 because USC had to go into overtime and absolutely crush us. You know, dogs die in overtime. So do totals. So if you had the under in that one, I didn't look at the total on that one, to be honest with you, but I know the under was sharp. And that game probably went over thanks to overtime. But this is Sunday. This is a new day. This is amnesia. I have to change the vibe a little bit. I was going with no glasses yesterday, so now I'm putting back on the winning shades. That's right. We got to bring the vibe back. We got to get it right. It is Sunday. It's a nice day out. Let's get into it. Get into the chat. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, to the GunzPicks channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, that's the channel that you're on right now. Subscribe, hit the like. I'm trying to build this thing up to move. We have over 115 subscribers. I appreciate you all, but I'm trying to build this thing up brick by brick by brick. And the only way to do that is to bring the winners that pay the bills. And of course, Michael, always in the chat. Morning, my guy. How you doing? Sorry about last night. Man, I'm distraught by what happened with the card last night, because we had such a good week with the plays. Everything was hitting. Everything was cooking. Hadn't got the sweep. A lot of 2-and-1s, a lot of 3-and-1s. And now we got to get a absolute sweep. And I'm bringing 5 plays to the table today. All right. And Uzi in the building says, shout out to GunzPicks for the content for this Sunday. The grind don't stop. It don't stop until we get to the national championship game, Uzi. I keep grinding. This is a marathon, not a track meet. We have a losing day. We back it up with 2 winning days. That is the motto. I've been up all morning. I didn't sleep. I got up at 7 a.m., and I've been cooking up this card all day. But let's start this off with a little bit of 12 p.m. action. This game does tip off in 18 minutes. It's FAU versus USF, South Florida, at 12 p.m. Yuengling Center in Tampa Bay, Florida. And listen, I know it's square. It's probably a square dog today, but I'm going to be going with the USF on this one. Plus 5.5 is the line that I got. Let me tell you why. Because USF is absolutely tremendous at home. 12-2 straight up at home this season. 9-0-3 versus conference play. I have to keep backing this team until they let me down. FAU on the other side, though, 3-9 ATS versus conference opponents. 2-5 ATS on the road this season. 3-10 ATS in their last 13 games. This is a team that continues to get overinflated in the market, and they let you down consistently time after time. Granted, this team did make a Final Four last year. Don't get me wrong. But I think everybody has put a big old target on their back all season long. However, they are winning games. But I think this USF team has just been making so much money for me. I got to keep backing them here. UCF, great on the defensive side of the ball at home. If you actually look at their numbers at home, tremendous. 68, only giving up 68 points per game to their opponents. And their opponents are only shooting 44% from the floor against them at the home court. It's important to note that because FAU has a tremendous offense, ranked 15th in offensive efficiency per KenPom. So if they're going to this court, that USF is notably played their best defense there, and they're playing one of the better offensive efficient teams in the conference today, and I think they get it done here. Also, got to look at USF. 8-2 ATS in the last 10 games overall, covering 3 out of the last 4 as a dog. I think they get it done here. They're great at home. They're great in conference. They're great in the last 10 games. They're great as a dog. Everything tells me to go take this USF team, and I'm going to do it here. I might be falling to a dog trap, but I got to recognize this team as a tremendously competitive program. Give me USF plus 5.5, 1.5 unit play, baby, as we shoot our first shot across the bow to the people in the chat. This morning, what is Michael on? He's like the under in Temple and UTSA. I think that's what he meant about that one. I got this at 147. Can't talk you off that one. Looking at the board here, looks like the under is probably the more branch contrarian play on this one. I'm seeing, if you say UCS, I got it at 147. I'm seeing 153.5 here. You got the correct number on that one? Oh, under 155. Sorry, my bad. I see it now. You got a 155. It's already dipping down to 153, 154. There you go. Yeah, you're on the right side of that one as far as Steam is concerned. And then Uzi Bro says, I like St. John's. Well, we are going to be talking about that game in a second. But I want to make sure I go in the order of the games that are going on today. Let's go to this one here. Murray State's going up against Drake. This game tips off at 2 p.m. East at Knapp Center in Des Moines, Iowa. And I can't back Drake at all in this spot. I'm actually going with the heavy dog here. Murray State plus 9.5, 1.5 unit play. Let me tell you why. Listen, Drake 1-4 ATS in the last 5 games. So this is a team that's continuously favored and continuously letting you down as a better. And I'm going to be taking them here. I'm sorry. I'm taking Murray State in this spot here. And Murray State's just been pesky in the dog roll and on the road this season, covering 5 out of the last 6 games on the road. So this team, they travel well and they play competitive up to the level of their competition. Drake is the better team. I can tell you that statistically, but Murray can keep it close here because, well, they do some important things that I love about certain teams to back when you're betting them. They don't turn over the ball a lot. They're ranked 14th in turnover percentage on the offensive side of the ball. And they're ranked 120th in offensive efficiency, going up against a Drake team that's ranked 72nd in defensive efficiency. So you're getting this egregious overinflated line here for Drake. But I think Murray State's going to keep it a lot closer than the number is given out here. Drake has a good offense. I'll give him that, 48th in the country as far as offensive efficiency is concerned. But Murray should match up well as they can get to the boards. They're ranked 69th in defensive rebounding versus a Drake team that doesn't rebound very well inside the paint. 312th in the country in offensive rebounding percentage, and they don't allow teams to go to the free throw line. They're ranked 71st in allowing free throw attempts. So this team is disciplined. They don't commit a lot of fouls, and you're not going to see a lot of shots at the charity stripe, which does kill covers, especially with bigger numbers like 9.5. Murray State has won 3 out of the last 4 games too, so they're playing better ball after this egregious start at the beginning of the season. If you remember, if you actually watch this team at the beginning of the season, they were god awful. They couldn't win games. They were playing sloppy. Now they're starting to pick things up and they're playing a little bit more competitive. Granted, they're not winning all their games. I think they had a 4-game losing streak, but as of late, they've been playing decent ball versus conference opponents. And they're going to be playing up to this Drake team, even though it's on the road here. So I'm going to take the plus 9.5. Drake can't cover spreads, especially big spreads, especially as a big favorite. So I'm going to take Murray State here, plus 9.5. That's a 1.5 unit banger, baby. As we get back to the chat, Michael just throwing plays because I actually seeing 6 for Florida State. FAU's terrible. ATS on the road. They only covered Wichita, but that went to overtime. Yes, I remember that one. I think I had Wichita in that game. That might have been last week, right? That was Super Bowl on the 11th. I think that's when that game happened. Wichita State ended up tying it, and you just knew in your head, heart of hearts, this game was dead. And with that big spread, I'm surprised Drake actually got the cover in overtime. It's crazy. Yeah, 3-10, 3-10 ATS in the last 13, 2-12 straight up last 12 versus South Florida. Yeah, it's hard not to back this team. It seems a little bit square, but I love USF altogether. I think they just checked more boxes here for me today. Drake is suspect. I agree with you there. Data Delp in the building says, "Sup, guns, hit the horn." And of course, Michael just dropped knowledge today. FAU 0-9 straight up last 9 versus South Florida. Only concern showing money. Yeah, I know that was my concern too. I get you there with seems like it's a public dog play. Seems like a little bit bigger line than you normally would see. You would think the line should be shorter here for USF. However, FAU is a ranked team. Okay, USF is not. So from a public perception, I would think you look at this team on paper, you just said automatically FAU, Final Four team. They got to win this game. We'll see how it goes in Tampa, Florida. Make sure to call out some people. He loves Dana Delp loves the Hoosiers today. Got him on a pick last night. You are on the right side of that. Give him the CLV trophy, baby. And then EQ in the building says, I took South Florida straight up as a dog. Hey, I can't talk you off that one. Like I said, 12-2 straight up at home this season. And they're going to be very jazzed up to play in-state rival here in FAU. All right, let's get to some of these other games on the board here. I'm gonna do a quick hitter here. I got a couple quick hitters actually. Gave you USF. I gave you Murray. Now I'm gonna go into another little situational play here. I'm gonna be taking Northern Iowa +3 here today as a 1.5 unit play versus Bradley. 2 p.m. This game does tip off in McLeod Center in Cedar Falls, Iowa. It's a revenge game for you and I, right? They lost to Bradley 85 to 69 as 8-point road dogs. Now you're seeing the line here sit at +3. So you already have in the line regression here from home versus away versus home split that you like to see with these teams once they play in game two. Bradley has struggled lately against the number since their win over Northern Iowa too. If you actually look at the numbers, they're 1-3 ATS in the last 4 games. Also, Bradley at 1-4 ATS on the road in their last 5 games as well. Just a quick hitter here. I think Northern Iowa gets it done. They're in a revenge spot. You got the line regression. You get all the check boxes here, and they're playing at home. So give me Northern Iowa here. I think they're playing at home, right? Yeah, they are. Sorry. Northern Iowa +3 versus Bradley, 1.5 unit play. Little banger there for you guys. Real quick hitter. I wrote that up probably just as I was getting on the air because I just love that spot there for them. Get it done, Northern Iowa. Let's go back here. It says USF dog will be barking. Let's get it. Want to see what happens with that game. Michael in the chat says, how short does this UCLA line hook versus Utah? I mean, Utah is bad on the road. UCLA has won like 9 straight. I will not back Utah on the road ever. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. This is UCLA play all day for me. I would probably lean towards that one. I haven't made it official yet. This is a later game, of course. I think it's the latest game on the board here today. I'm gonna wait on that one. Do a little bit more research. Make sure my boxes are checked on this one. But Utah on the road is no bueno. No bueno. We do not do that. We don't take them. They lost to USC in their last game on the road. Now they're gonna go to UCLA. They've been in Los Angeles for, probably 4 or 5 days now. So I think they're comfortable there. However, it's a road game for Utah, and it never bodes well for them in those spots. But I want to do some double checking, some crossing some T's, some dotting some I's before I make an official play on that one. Lean towards UCLA as we speak right now. All right, gotta go to another game that's on the board here. Gave you 1, 2, 3. Let's go to SMU versus Memphis, right? Moody Coliseum, Dallas, Texas is the spot. Mustangs are at home, and they're favored 4.5 versus this Memphis team. And guess what? I don't back Memphis for nothing. Nothing. They do not cover. They don't make money. They lose money. So I'm going to go SMU. I'm going to go with the Mustangs in this one. -4.5, 1.5 unit play. Let me tell you why. Look at the stats on this one. Memphis' stats. 78th in offensive efficiency, 259th in turnover percentage. They turn over the ball a lot. Probably why they don't cover a lot of these spreads. 90th in field goal percentage. 101st in defensive efficiency, 328th in defensive rebounds. So there's a lot of these key statistical elements for me that makes Memphis unbackable. And they continue to make them favorites. However, today they're playing in the dog role. SMU on their stats, 62nd in offensive efficiency, 98th in field goal percentage, 8th in offensive rebounding. On the defensive side, pretty good stats on that one. 32nd in defensive efficiency, 6th in defending shots, and they're 79th in the country in creating turnovers. So I think this is a better team altogether for the Mustangs. Memphis is a team that struggles covering spreads consistently. 2-12 ATS in their last 14 games, 1-5 ATS on the road. Revenge game for SMU as well. SMU lost to Memphis on the road, 62-59 as 7-point road dogs, and now they're favored here at 4.5. That is a huge line swing. That's not a 6-point. It's not a 3-point. This is a big shift in the line, and when I see big shifts like that, I have to jump on it. I think SMU's got the more boxes checked on this one. They're just better statistically on both sides of the ball. They take care of the basketball better. They defend the ball really well. They get in your face. There's going to be a lot of missed shots. And if they're missing shots, you got your rebounding element in there. And like I said, Memphis, not a good rebounding team altogether. I think this is a revenge spot that SMU succeeds here at home in Moody Coliseum. Get it done here, Stangs. Time to get this one in revenge. SMU -4.5, 1.5 unit play, baby. Back to the chat. It looks like EQ is loving Seton Hall. I don't know about that one at all. I do have a look at that game. I'll get to it in a second. He thinks they can win outright. We shall see. Peter in the chat hitting the gym to pump up the guns. In guns, we trust. Give him the horn. Love it, love it, love it, love it. We got we got 4 games down on the board. We gave you Murray State, we gave you SMU, we gave you Northern Iowa, and I gave you UCF or USF. Now we're gonna go with what I love to call my best bet of the night. Let's go. Now the best bet, on the contrary of EQ here, who likes Seton Hall. I'm going with the Johnnies on this one. Red Storm versus Seton Hall Pirates. Give it to me at -5.5. It's the line here. They're going to be playing here 5 p.m. East, UBS Arena in Elmont, New York. And statistically, we just got to be riding here on the St. Johnny wagon. 38th in offensive efficiency, 50th in defensive efficiency. The Johnnies are this year. When you look at Seton Hall, 70th in offensive efficiency, 71st in defensive efficiency. Revenge game, though, big time here for St. John's. They lost by 15 points to Seton Hall, 80 to 65 as 1-point road favorites. Now they're back home, 6-point favorites. They got crushed. They got demolished. They got embarrassed. Now it's time to go dust off, get right, and get them back. Then I got Seton Hall struggled as of late. If you look at their numbers, 2 and 5 ATS in the last 7 games. St. John's has had their struggles, going 1 and 4 straight up in ATS in the last 5. But look at the losses. They're against good conference teams, better teams than Seton Hall. We're talking about Xavier. We're talking about UConn. We're talking about Marquette. UConn, Marquette, top 10 teams in the country, and Providence. And Providence is a strong team as well. So you have 4 teams right there that beat them, and they didn't cover. I think their only cover was against DePaul when they were -20 something. So I think when the competition is a little bit lower here for St. John's, they do get the job done, and you got the revenge factor to boot here for Seton against Seton Hall. St. John's a different team at home than they are on the road. Their only conference losses at home this season was against UConn and Marquette. Granted, they play at 3 different spots for their home games. Between MSG, UBS, and that other place that looks like a rat hole of a place to play. But I think they're going to get it done here at home because they just have done it. Doesn't matter which 3 home courts they play at. They play better against their competition in this one. I think they get it done versus Seton Hall. They got the revenge factor. They got the line correlation shift from the home versus away. And they got crushed last time. Granted, Seton Hall has owned them in the past. I think Seton Hall does own this matchup in the last 4 or 5. But I think St. John's is just a different beast, different animal here, and they're favorite here for a reason at -5.5, -6. So give it to me here, -5.5. St. John's 1.5 unit play as my best bet of the day. Going back to the chat on this one, Michael says, I'm thinking about Evansville +4.5. The Purple Aces have been playing well. I'm with you on that one. I think that's going to be an official play. I'm going to put that in the Slack later. I was looking at that one before the show. I think it's Evansville or pass. There was another play that I liked in there too. Oh yeah, they're playing Illinois State. And if you go look at Illinois State's numbers, they just have been ice cold, haven't been covering as of late. Evansville just playing really competitive ball against everybody in their conference. Tough not to back them, especially on the road. They do well on the road, do well as a dog. Yeah, Evansville or pass on that one. I love that game for you there, Michael. Some other games that I was leaning towards on this one haven't got there yet on paper. I'm gonna look at that Utah and UCLA game. Leaning towards the UCLA side. Haven't got there yet. I'm kind of leaning towards Tulane versus ECU today at 2:00. I don't know. Between Tulane and Tulsa, I think I just love putting them on my cards. Tulane just kind of plays competitive, especially on Sundays. They really play exceptionally well. Seems like they've been making me money consistently on Sundays, especially. Leaning towards the Niagara side versus Quinnipiac. I couldn't get there personally. I do love Niagara, especially as a dog. They just continually cash it. They could go down 20 points midway through the second half, and they can just creep back and win the game. That's how good that team is. That team just figures out ways to keep it close and cover spreads. But they're going against a Quinnipiac team that loves to cover spreads too. I think they're playing at home today, and they've covered the last 7 at home. So I haven't got there yet on both of them, but I love the Niagara spot today. I think they can at the very least, cover this spread. Just couldn't get there today on the official show play because of how the performance of Quinnipiac has been. And I think Quinnipiac's coming off a loss, too, straight up loss. So they may come out here angry as all hell and take care of business. That's why I'm staying away from that one. EQ says St. Mary's in Fairfield. Is Fairfield coming off a loss? I think they're coming off a loss, too. I know Mount St. Mary's, they played Friday. Both of these teams did play Friday. Looking at the board here, Fairfield. I can find it. Yeah, Fairfield is what? 4-point favorites versus Mount St. Mary's. I lean towards Fairfield. I think there's a bounce back factor in there. I like Mount St. Mary's at home more than I do away. On the road, it's a very different element for them. But I lean towards Fairfield on this one. Nothing official, of course. But if I had to lean one way or the other, I'd probably do that one. They lost by Niagara by 2. Quinnipiac did. Oh wait, you're talking about Fairfield. I got you. Yeah. You're right. That I think that's the one I was thinking of. I think I was on Niagara in that game for a slack play. But anyways, that's gonna do it for the show. Got 5 plays for you. We're gonna go Murray State here. Looks like that game is actually we're gonna go USF at noon. That's already tipped off now, so you can go grab that live if you missed it. Got Murray State plus 9.5. That game tips off at 2. Got St. John's minus 5.5. That tips off at 5. We're gonna go SMU, the Mustangs, in a revenge spot versus Memphis Tigers minus 4.5. 4 at 4 p.m. Then we're gonna go Northern Iowa plus 3 at 2 p.m. versus Bradley. And those are all 1.5 unit plays. Let's cash all 5 today. We are due for a bounce back. 1 and 3 yesterday, unacceptable. However, we were on a 7-3 run. We hit NC State outright, which we called that one, so that was good for us. So that's 8 and 3. Then we missed 3. We were 8 and 6 this week. So let's finish off the week properly with W's, with cash in our pockets. So let's cash some tickets. Let's dominate the board. And as always, let's keep dancing. Bang.